Coming up on KVAL News, I'll tell you what one bar owner says is her secret to success.
When you close a credit card account, you've removed available credit from that credit report without paying it.
Drowning in credit card debt, you're not alone, but why you shouldn't cancel your card immediately after paying it off. Plus,
if we have a really serious case of respiratory disease, then we do a blood test.
Is Fido feeling under the weather? Hear how you can protect your pooch from the dog flu.
First, fair, accurate. KVAL News starts right now.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Natasha Chugtai in for Danae DRC tonight. First at 11, it may seem like more and more downtown bars are closing before they even start a name for themselves. Bar 201 opened its doors less than 2 months ago, but is already folded with the furnishings and building up for sale. And Joe Federico's recently closed its doors after reopening a second time. So what's going on? KVAL reporter Ernie LeBeau is live in downtown Eugene with what one owner says it takes to survive. Ernie.
Well, Natasha, there are quite a few people down here, and it seems as the night goes on, more and more people are coming out. Now, we're at the corner of Broadway and Olive, which is known as the Bermuda Triangle. Now, if you see some lights flashing in the background, that's because EPD is here on my left-hand side. Now, I did speak to a bar owner earlier today, and she says when it comes to business surviving as a nightclub, that old saying of customers being first, put first, and being right still is very true.
It's really about taking care of the customer.
Jody Moyne puts customers first when it comes to her business. And after 14 years in the biz, she says that's one of her keys to success. And she's the owner of not one, but 2 bars in downtown Eugene.
Bar business is really fun. It's really fun, and it's frustrating, and it's crazy, and it's all those things.
Moyne says both of her businesses are booming. But that's not the case for downtown bars like 201 and Samurai Duck that have recently closed. But just how has she managed to juggle 2 bars when others are falling flat? She says by keeping things consistent. That means making sure what people order is exactly what they get. And while she says this is the most challenging part of owning a bar, when you have great staff that enjoys what they do, customers will come back.
I like the atmosphere. I mean, you can sit on the couches, sit at the bar stool. It's wide open. Usually you're not shoulder to shoulder. Just a kickback atmosphere.
Consistency in product and venue. And while this bar has a more loungy feel, she says her other one is a more musical vibe that is fit for the people it serves.
It just serves 2 different demographics, and our goal is always to provide a safe, fun atmosphere for people who come downtown.
Now, we did call the owner of Bar 201 to ask just exactly why they closed, but he did not return our phone calls. Natasha?
So, Ernie, do you think the fact that Eugene is a college town maybe has anything to do with which places happen to stay open?
Well, Natasha, I don't know whether or not that is the case. I know the owner I spoke to earlier today has lived in this area for quite some time. She went to school here, and she says this community, it's about knowing the community and knowing what people want here for a business to survive. Now, we have EPD in the back, as you can see. Now, we were told that something happened down here with someone in some type of altercation. We're not sure exactly about the details, but as we do find out more about that, we will give you that information. Live in downtown Eugene, I'm Ernie LeBeau. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Ernie. Well, we saw temperatures in the triple digits again today, a record-breaking August day across Western Oregon. Seth Wayne lets you know what to expect first thing in the morning. Seth.
Natasha, we'll forecast some cooler weather as we head on to the end of the work week. But as we wake up in the morning, plenty mild out there. Clear skies, Eugene and Springfield, about 59. We're talking 58 in Roseburg, a record-smashing day in Douglas County today. Coos Bay and North Bend, about 55. You early risers, take a look. The space station will fly overhead yet again on Thursday. Just before 5 a.m., it will approach from the southwest and depart from the east-northeast. Certainly a sight to see in the skies over Western Oregon. More on our cooler forecast coming up.
A consumer alert tonight. If you've stayed at a Radisson hotel recently, check your credit card statements carefully. Someone broke into the company's computer system between last November and this May, possibly getting access to customers' credit card numbers. Radisson runs more than 400 hotels around the world. It's advising clients to watch out for fraudulent purchases. Some big changes in credit card rules go into effect tomorrow. They're part of credit card legislation President Obama signed earlier this year. Under the new rule, credit card companies must send bills 21 days in advance. They have to notify a customer 45 days before raising rates, and they can decline the new rate and pay off existing balances under the old rate. This is just a first round of protections. Additional changes will take place February 2010. Meantime, millions of Americans are struggling to pay off their credit card debt. If you're one of them, you may be tempted to pay off a card or two and cut it up. But according to FICO, the company that invented the credit score, people who cancel their cards are not necessarily viewed as responsible. Cutting up your cards can reduce your credit score.
When you close them, there's probably some kind of correlation or association between people that close cards and people that are in financial trouble.
Experts agree the best thing to do is pay off your cards, but keep them open at least for a little while. Foreclosed homes and short sales are supposed to be hot deals for buyers, but home inspectors from across the country say sometimes those leaving a foreclosed home can leave an expensive mess. KVAL's Addison Taylor has the story.
Foreclosures and short sales can be great deals. It's like the clearance rack at a clothing store. This home in South Eugene carries a price tag of about $330,000, and that's 40% off its original listing price. But just like when you buy something on sale, you're getting it as is.
I've seen some very rough houses in this area that have been foreclosed in which there has been damage.
It's happening across the country. These are pictures of some of those homes. Yes, that's mold growing.
Come across pictures having been ripped out and hot wires are dangling.
Good water heater. Jeff White is a home inspector.
I've seen, furnaces taken, water heaters taken.
I met with them to find out if the cost of repairing one of these homes is worth it. We went through this Springfield home on the short sale list to find out. It's listed at $229,000. That's down from its original listing price of almost $350,000.
Had some water get behind it, but not enough to do any real damage.
This house is in pretty good condition, an ideal buy, with some rough edges. White says this is usually the case.
I've seen more good houses in foreclosure than bad.
And Tomlinson agrees.
But if you're a buyer right now, these are the hottest deals around.
Just make sure you have a clear inspection and know how much money you're going to have to spend smoothing out those rough edges. Most foreclosures and short sales are just good houses left alone too long and in need of a little TLC. In Springfield, Addison Taylor, KVAL News.
Despite recent reports showing foreclosures going up in Lane County, real estate agents say the market is improving. A warning out tonight among veterinarians across the country. Keep an eye out for the canine flu. The dog flu has been found in 5 states and has sickened dozens of dogs. Brian Wood reports.
It's not unusual for a group of dogs to get a cold or the flu, but when it happens here at the Oregon Humane Society, they don't take any chances.
If we have a really serious case of respiratory disease, then we do a blood test.
So far, those tests are all negative for H3N8. But in Virginia, 1 dog died, dozens more fell ill, and a shelter was forced to close for a time. Other cases have been found in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Colorado. But the outbreaks tend to be isolated.
So we're not seeing the traditional carrying it out of one shelter or one boarding facility and onto a public population. It's more associated with groups of dogs in a shelter or a boarding, closed environment.
If your dog has recently been boarded and is coughing, sneezing, or wheezing, it's time to see the vet. They are on alert for this virus.
Yeah, we talk to all the regional shelters on a weekly or daily basis, and if somebody in our region in Portland sees an outbreak of a more serious disease, we let each other know.
I'm Brian Wood for KVAL News.